Joy, you're the resident Heat fan. Nobody is going to be more passionate about this matter than you are. I have been waiting for hours to hear your reaction. What was your reaction to Game 3, the Nuggets performance, the Heat performance?
I mean, it's a frustrating watch as a Heat fan, but I can also compartmentalize. And it was one of the all-time great playoff performances that we've ever seen by Nikola Jokić, which I have to say, had to be expected at some point. Yeah. This finals. He's had an unbelievable season. He's had an unbelievable 3 straight seasons, production-wise, and he was brilliant last night. I mean, he looked like he was playing a different sport. And sometimes when you are playing against a great, that's just what they're going to do. I mean, Heat players can jump pretty high. They were trying to get the rebounds, but that was not happening last night. It was this. I'll take that, I'll take that one, and I will take that one. And that's essentially how the night went. Jamal Murray also had an unbelievable night as well, and that paired with the Heat having a terrible start to the third quarter, but they never really recovered from. Yeah. They're going to play the whole game as they always do. Made it a little scrappy at the end, kept it exciting, but it was really out of reach after the third quarter, and that had a lot to do with the fact that the shooting was not there once again. And I think that if you pay attention to when the Heat's, I don't want to call them role players because they're not role players, but when the Heat's players outside of Bam and Jimmy do not contribute at the level that they need to contribute at, which is just what they average, the Heat cannot stay in the game. So I think it was an unbelievable night by Jokić and Murray. I don't really want to put too much emphasis on everybody else, though, because everyone else didn't really contribute at a super high level. It was those two going off and matching with the Heat struggling from shooting.
Joy, I'm genuinely curious. As a fan of sport, I love not only your opinion as an opinionist, but your opinion as a fan of the Miami Heat who has seen them over their run with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, but this run. At what point, when you assess the Heat and you assess the Nuggets, does worry ever creep into your mind as a fan? Not as an opinionist, but seeing like through 3 games, point differentials minus 23. On average, it's usually plus 26 in the Heat's favor. At what point does any sort of worry creep into the mind of Heat fans?
Well, I think, well, I guess I can't answer this objectively because I'm answering as a Heat fan, so it's not objective. But last night told me the story of the gap between the Heat and the Nuggets. And we've talked about this a lot, like the talent gap and why it's so difficult for everyone to believe in what the Heat are doing. And what it comes down to is the Heat do not have a volume shooter, and the Nuggets do. So if the Nuggets are, someone struggling here or there, they can make up the points for that. The Heat all have to contribute. You don't need Max Strus to go off for 30, but you do need him to shoot 10, you need him to get 10 points. Yeah. You need Gabe Vincent to do what he does. He doesn't need to go off for 40. He just needs to do what he does. Yep. Duncan Robinson needs to do what he does, not in garbage time. And that was really the difference last night. Gabe Vincent did not have a big night. Caleb Martin had 10 decent. Max Strus, 3 points. That's not going to get it done. You need Max Strus, you need Gabe Vincent, and you need Duncan Robinson to contribute, particularly when things are starting to fall apart, which is not what happened last night. So from a Heat fan perspective, that's what makes me nervous, is those guys, we know they're capable of doing it, but those guys have to show up and contribute offensively. Yeah. Because our volume shooter, the guy that you can count on for 20 a night, is on the bench, hurt, and Tyler Hero. So if Tyler Hero was out there, that's 20 points. Yeah. You have some questions you have to move around defensively, but you're getting 20 points from Tyler Hero, and you're getting 20 points from Bam Adebayo, and you're getting 20 points from Jimmy Butler. So you don't need everybody to have their decent night in and night out in the finals. And that's the difference between the Heat and the Nuggets to me.
Shady, I want to ask you this question. Obviously, you were watching the game. I believe you and Slick were both watching the game. Guess Miami
smoking a cigar. Smoking a Cuban cigar. Should I say that? Get it, yeah, Miami Cuban.
As far as we know, yes.
2-5. I'm watching the game and I'm thinking to myself, I'll elaborate on my point after you, that the Heat got exposed. Ooh. That's the first thought that came to my mind. It's a strong word. I apologize, America. Strong word. That's what came to my mind. Do you think the Heat got exposed in Game 3? What are your thoughts?
I want to say exposed, right? Exposed is in like, you found out the weakness and you killed it. I won't say that. But I just think that it came down to their star players played better. Jokić and Murray played better, right? And then as a collective group, and that's when we talk about, talent and skill.
Yes, sir.
Like small things like a different matchup. Okay, Aaron Gordon, you know, he's pick and roll with Jokic or whatever it is, or Jamal Murray, and he gets on Duncan Robinson.
Yep.
A 6'8", 6'9", Aaron Gordon should score on Duncan Robinson every given time.
Yeah.
So small things like that, when I watch it, like for the Heat players, I feel like the role players, I'm gonna call them role players. The role players, other than Gabe Vincent, he's actually a good player. He's a star. But to the role players, they need things to go well for them to go off, right? And I watched the Nuggets, they locked them up. You're not getting no open threes today, bruh. You score on me, and they couldn't do it. And then on the offensive side for the Nuggets, when they were going on there, they were playing the paint. They shot some threes that wasn't going down. Cool, we're gonna do mid-ranges, and we go in the paint to Jokic. And then I gotta give a lot of credit to Mike Malone.
Yes. Yes.
He came at his team, right, in the press conference before the game, and everybody killed him for it. He's not taking responsibility for him as a coach. No. I love what he did. He called him out. I want to see hustle. We're in the finals, and I don't see no type of hustle. I'm concerned.
Yep.
And if you watched the game last night, I was surprised to see how the Nuggets were out hustling the Heat, and you never see that.
Very well said. I'm loving this conversation thus far. Slick, let me see if I can convince you. I think the Heat got exposed yesterday. Exposed just means...
Say it again.
They got exposed.
Sound wild.
But it is... Exposing has an implication of negativity.
Okay.
I don't mean that in a negative form. I mean that simply to say, now I know who they are exactly. Slick, I don't know ever on a birthday if somebody tried to prank you, they bring out the cake with the candles and you blow them out, and they don't go out. And you're thinking to yourself, oh, maybe I need to give it extra gust of wind.
Yeah.
You blow again, it doesn't go out.
Spit on the cake.
Maybe I need to give an extra gust of wind. By the third...
Pre-COVID.
By the third time you try to blow those candles out, you realize somebody pranking you.
They got me?
They got me. In my mind, it usually takes 1, 2, 3 times to understand what's really going on.
Okay.
Game 1, I can't call it. The Heat are tired. They just finished playing a 7-game series. They're at altitude. Game 2, the Heat shot 48% from 3. I can't call it. That ain't realistic.
Right.
So game 3, and I think Joy said to some degree, like, this is really the game. She said this yesterday, where we're going to be able to tell some things. I agreed with her. Game 3, I'm like, you know what? This is who the Heat are. Jimmy Butler can give you 24, 25 points a game. He gave you 28. During the regular season, he averaged 23. On this series, he's averaging 21. Bam Adebayo gives you 20 and 10. That's why he's an all-star. Yeah. In this series, he's giving you a little bit more than 20 and 10. Last night, I think he gave you 22 and 17. Duncan Robinson, during the regular season, is going to give you on average 6 to 7 points. In this series, I believe he's giving you 8 points. Max Strus, during the regular season, he gives you 12 points. In this playoffs, he's giving you 10. Last night, he gave you 6. Caleb Martin, I don't know who he is.
I told you, boys.
But he was an Eastern Conference Finals MVP runner-up by 1 vote. Yeah. 1 vote was the deciding vote. I don't know who he is. But then in this series last night, I'm like, oh, wait, you only had 5 points? In this series, you're only averaging about 10 points, 8 points? This is who you really are. Not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just now allowing me to understand that this is who the Heat are, and I just don't believe the Heat are as talented as the Denver Nuggets. That is why I say they got exposed. But, Slick, you are an expert. Did the Heat get exposed?
I don't want to say exposed because, to Shady's point, I feel like exposed means that we revealed something new about them. And this wasn't something new, the difference in talent or the difference that the potential size could have an impact on this series. I feel like it was exploited, finally, for the first time.
Okay.
Because the Denver Nuggets matched the effort and discipline of the Miami Heat in this series. And I always thought they could. My only concern was maybe on this platform you get a little bit of stage fright and you're a little hesitant, and now you're not moving as fast, you don't play as confident. It changes how fast and hard you play when you're guessing about, or you're just nervous about what's at stake. Last night, for the first time, they showed me, no, we can match them, and here's the difference between the two. And if I'm going to boil it down, I would say it's this, because we get so caught up in how the offensive numbers compare, right? Whenever we're judging players. But what makes Jimmy and Bam really special is the fact that they both can give you 20 points, 20-plus points, but it's their defensive versatility and ability that separates them, right? So that's the heart of what they do and what they bring to the culture. The Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokić and Jamal Murray are offensive weapons. And what I saw and I thought was proved last night is that Jokić and Murray are better at being offensive weapons play at a higher level offensively than Jimmy and Bam can defensively. And as a result, because I thought what the big difference was that Jokić and Murray, it wasn't just that they scored and were effective, but they got other guys easy buckets. And Jimmy and Bam just can't have that same impact to that level.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.